Hey everyone, it's Alex and welcome to this Marvel Snap video. We're going to be discussing the best Spotlight caches coming for this month, and we're going to be looking out into the future and looking at the Marvel Rivals season of Spotlight caches as well, giving you my opinion on which ones are worth looking at and which ones are worth skipping. But most importantly, what I think you should be doing is using this video as a source of information that just helps you make an informed decision. I do encourage you to check out some other creator videos, get involved in Discord and other communities to discuss how best to utilize your valuable resources. Everyone's collections are different, everyone's resources are different. We have some people that are free to play, other people just buy the season pass, and we got the whales out there that don't even care what I'm saying anyways. But at the end of the day, everyone's situation is different, and I think that the more information you have, the better informed you are. Let's get started with Malekith, Thena, and Valentina. Now Malekith, it's still quite early as of recording, but we do have our hands on Malekith. He has overall impressed with an approximately 52% win rate in post-infinite games. Thena is an absolute must-have in your collection. It is a 5-star card for me. It's running a 54% win rate, a popularity of only about 7%, which is a little on the lower end considering how good Thena is. But listen, if you're playing Kitty Pryde, Thena is going to be like one of those cards that is forever meta-relevant. Those types of decks always want Thena in them. Those decks have always been solid performers, and I think that Thena is one you need to have in your collection. It's also an irreplaceable piece that if you're like, hey Alex, I don't have Thena, who do I put there instead? It feels really bad to try to sub Thena. She is that remarkable, and so I definitely think you need her in your collection, and this would be the time to get her. With Valentina's straight up filler. It's not meta relevant, and it likely won't be. I mean, it's seeing some experimentation here and there, but it's not the kind of card that's going to make or break any given deck. Going into the next week here, we do have the Fenris Wolf week, and I like Fenris Wolf. It goes alongside the other wolf, the Werewolf by Night and Annihilus. Now, right off the rip here, I do think that Fenris Wolf is an important release valve for Surtur and those decks that are so prevalent in the meta right now. I do think that Fenris has an opportunity to kind of, counterplay those decks by punching out a 10-costed card and then bringing that back on the other side. You also have synergy with something like a Moon Knight, where you can discard a 2, 4, or 6 costed card, and even if you whiff a little bit and you discard something weak, it's going to bring back the highest power card, and I think that's kind of an important consideration here, because if you happen to punch something out with a Shangers, despite a miss on something like a Moon Knight, you're likely to be able to take advantage of the Fenris effect, because it's the highest power card, right? And the activate allows you to activate it on the final turn to kind of maximize its return. So I do think the card has a lot of potential. Werewolf by Night, I think, is a good card from a statistics standpoint. It's just not performing particularly well in the current meta of Marvel Snap. I mean, 53% win rate is nothing to scoff at, but the popularity would indicate that most people are just preferring like the Hitmonkey version of the Werewolf decks. Like Werewolf and Hitmonkey seem to be competing for similar spots, and Werewolf's often losing out to Hitmonkey currently. So Werewolf, I mean, it's good to have in your collection, but right now perhaps a little clunky. And Annihilus has gotten knocked right out into the oblivion there. It's unfortunate because Annihilus is an archetype defining card to some extent, but when you got the Viper change, you have Cersei that came out, you have all these alternate plays. Don't forget that Sentry also got a massive 2-point nerf on both the Void and on himself, and so like that entire Annihilus package just kind of fell apart a little bit, right? So it's not really meta relevant right now, but it just might be one day worth having in your collection, but it's not performing at the current time. Going into November 26th, we do have Gorr, Havok, and Legion, and this actually kind of pisses me off. 2 Series 4 cards with one of the more exciting cards to come to Marvel Snap is very frustrating. It feels very deliberate that they would put like Gorr, which I think a lot of people are generally excited for as a high power 6-drop card in the game, with Havok, who I do like, but let's be realistic, is a 1-star card. Like, these stats are not great, and Legion, while good, I like Legion, but again, it's still like a Series 4 card, 2 Series 4 cards, and then like, it's just not a lot of value. It's simply not a lot of value in the Spotlight cache, and it sucks. It sucks, honestly, because like, I'm excited for Gorr, but like, you enter this week and like, if you have to roll your keys for it, like, again, you're just hitting these landmines, man. It's like they're putting landmines in the Spotlight caches. Spotlight caches, when they were first introduced, were supposed to be super exciting. They were supposed to be something that like we turn to and we'd be like, hell yeah, man, that's exciting. We want to actually like spend our keys, get these crazy good variants, or, you know, get these exclusive cards, these hard to get cards, and like we wanted to build our collections. And then you see this, and it's like, come on, man. You have to put Gorr with 2 Series 4 cards. It just makes the entire week feel bad. And Gorr has potential, yes. But, like, seriously, it's just frustrating. And honestly, my frustrations that I just mentioned, it continues until the entire December season. There's a lot of hype around the Marvel Rivals season, and I'm actually excited for the Marvel Rivals cards. They're cool. I'm excited for Marvel Rivals. However, let's be honest. These Spotlight caches are garbage. Right? And I think they did it on purpose, and it's so frustrating to me because like I look at it and you were supposed to be excited to open Spotlight caches. You're supposed to be excited to spend your Spotlight keys. And instead, they're like, let's get Luna Snow. This is going to be pretty exciting, like one of the new characters introduced in Marvel Rivals, and let's put it with, you know, a Series 4 card, and yeah, a good card in X23, I'll take it. This is like one of the better Spotlight caches. But like, they're putting these like bad cards in there, like Lady Dethstrike. We just had an LDS Spotlight. LDS has a 2% popularity. How many times do we need a Series 4 Lady Dethstrike in a Spotlight cache this year? We just don't need it. You know what I mean? And there's so many cards you could have put instead, and it's frustrating to see that. And it's going to be a recurring theme through all of these Spotlight caches going into December. They are garbage. We're seeing repetitious Series 4 cards. Okay, Zemo hasn't dropped. Blink hasn't dropped. None of the Eternals other than Thena have not like been in the Spotlight caches, right? Gwenpool, like, you know what? Like Gilgamesh would have been great in these Spotlight caches. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating for me because it's like, you have this collaboration, you have a ton of excitement around Marvel Rivals, and you just like, nah, let's just put garbage in the caches. Oh, it's so frustrating. But let's focus more on the actual cards themselves that are coming out, like the Luna Snows and the Marvel Rival cards. My rant is done. I hope you guys kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to say. But with Luna Snow, I'm a little tempered with my expectations. I think the reciprocated effect of the ice cubes, which I'm kind of blocking there, it says at the start of the turn. You know, I don't usually have a card here in the corner, but with the ice cube, I think that it's interesting ramp, and you could consider like, you know, playing, okay, they play a one drop into a location, you play, you know, White Widow, and then you play this, and then like you do something else to blow up theirs on the other side, but they have ramped alongside you, right? I wonder if Luna Snow is like kind of power crystal. Like I was thinking about that, right? I was like, okay, crystal is a reciprocated effect and no one likes it. Is there a good chance that Luna Snow is not going to be good because it's a reciprocated effect that no one likes? Like if Electro gave you both energy, and we're like, I'm not playing that crap, right? You know what I mean? So I wonder if Luna Snow falls into that same category. That's one of my primary concerns. And so overall, while I do have some hope for Luna Snow, like I'm like, okay, I'm a little okay with it. I'll give it a shot. I'm interested in playing it. The overall quality of the Spotlight cache, X23 is worth getting, yes, but destroys hot and cold at times, and LDS is trash. So ultimately, it's a weak Spotlight week. And then we go to the Peni Parker week of December 10th and the 17th, and this one's better. Okay, we have Glad, which although Series 4, and although the popularity is a little bad right now because of Surtur and everything, but okay, Gladiator is a good card. I think it's a fun card. I do like it, okay? And Sasquatch, honestly, is a super underappreciated card. It's a legit card. It sees almost no play right now, but it's good. I'm convinced that there's going to come a time where Sasquatch is relevant because I have been saying it for a long time. I do think Sasquatch is good. But with Peni Parker, I think it's actually a neat card, especially with the way it curves, potential Wiccan synergies here as well. I do like it. Like, I can see myself playing like a Quicksilver Wiccan deck, where on 1 I play Quicksilver, 2 I play Peni, 3 I play SP onto the Quicksilver or whatever. Then you have the chance to move the Quicksilver into a location that reveals like a Sanctorum or something. You play the Wiccan. I think it's pretty cool. Now, in terms of straight up power, right, it's 2-3 into a 3-3, and like, yeah, it's like kind of like it's a Hulkbuster style effect. But I think it's cool. You can also consider playing something like, well, you could merge, like, not on curve necessarily, but you can merge into multiple mans and Human Torches. And like, there's all these things you can be doing with that. Like, oh, now you get to move, which tends to be pretty powerful. Think about like a Hulkbuster with a Madam Web ability. That's pretty neat. So I do like Peni Parker a lot. It is coming in at a 4 stars for me. I do think that it's going to be a strong card. I like it. I think it's on rate in terms of power. I think its ability is interesting and versatile. I like it. this is a decent Spotlight week. A little held back by the Series 4 card here, but still, I think it's okay. Going into the next week, this is where like my rant before kind of like really takes hold. You got Doom 2099, which is probably one of the coolest cards they've released in a while. And I think they recognize that and they're like, yo, this card's pretty cool. I bet you people are going to roll their keys for it. Let's put garbage in the cache. So you put Miek in there again. You put Hitmonkey in there again. Actually, right now, we don't even have a Hitmonkey variant. Hasn't been data mined yet, so it's not going to just be the base. But Hitmonkey's actually good right now, which is crazy. It's running an 11% popularity, 53% winner. It's a good card, but it's a Series 4 card. Miek is not bad either. It's running a 53% win rate in these kind of Scorn style decks, but it's not that popular. It doesn't even make most of those decks at a 1% popularity, and it's a Series 4 card. Doom, yes, it's a super cool card. I think it's at minimum a 4-star card. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to play, and I do believe, we don't have confirmation as of recording, but it's likely that the Doom bots will buff Doom itself, like the 6-power Doom with the other Dooms, right? The other Doom bots, because there seems to be, like, the naming convention seems consistent. Now, if that gets changed, then the value of Doom 2099 changes, but if it remains that it is right now, it sounds like you can go Doom 2099 on 4, whatever you want on turn 5, and then you can play Dr. Doom on turn 6, and everyone wins, right? That's huge. I think this is honestly a remarkable card. This might even be my 5-star of the month, honestly. I might be even a little low at 4. I love it. I think it's fantastic, but like, oh, these Spotlight caches. So it sucks because, like, it's so exciting, and yet the overall rating for these Spotlight caches is 2 stars because you got a Miek Series 4, a Hitmonkey Series 4, and then you have the Dr. Doom. You could even maybe, if Dr. Doom's a 5-banger, you go up to 3 stars here, but like 2 Series 4 cards, even if Hitmonkey is relevant right now, the OTAs can change the value of Hitmonkey. Who knows, right? A lot can happen because Hitmonkey's relying on Agent Venom. It's relying on a whole bunch of really powerful cards right now, and a lot can change in a lot of time. This is around the, this is almost a month away at this point. And then we go to December 24th to, well, New Year's Eve, and it's Bruce Banner with High Evolutionary and Ravonna. Again, Series 4 card, Ravonna back in the caches for what, the 4th time? Like, yay, it's great. I love Ravonna too, but this is like, it's too much, man. I'm harping on like the same thing over and over again. High Evo, big bad, worth getting into your collection, not really meta relevant at the moment, but it might be even with something like a Bruce Banner that when you end a turn with unspent energy, which obviously High Evo wants to do, you get a 25% chance to Hulk out. As of recording, we don't actually quite have the definition of what hulking out is. Well, because this is a data mine and it's not official information, so they don't need to comment on it. But is hulking out becoming the Hulk? Becoming a 212? But you have a 25% chance to do it, which means your opponents are going to do it 100% of the time and you're going to do it 0% of the time? I don't know, man. That's what it reads like. And we don't really have any insane RNG like that in Marvel Snap. This is like, we have RNG, but this is like the first time of like Hearthstone style, like really intense RNG. So I don't know. This might be, I could see this even changing. I don't even know if they release it this way. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. 2 to 3 stars for me, probably on the 2 side. 3 if it ends up high rolling more often than not. Especially if you think about like, well, you can't even Magic. If you play Magic on turn 3, like the turn orders are so weird for that Hulk, right? Like the way you have to kind of float energy for the chance and stuff. It's so unreliable. I don't know. I come away kind of unimpressed. But again, like, it's just not a good week because, again, you have High Evo, which is not particularly relevant, has been in the Spotlight caches multiple times. Ravonna, which has been countless times as a Series 4. And then Bruce Banner, which is probably kind of sus. Not a great week. Very unfortunate, despite how interesting Bruce Banner actually is. And then we go to Rocket and Groot. I actually really like this card. I think it's cool. The idea of being able to move it, I think, is really valuable. That's extremely versatile. Do not underestimate the ability to move a card, just at all, right? And then you have, after the opponent plays a card here, steal 1 power from it. Very important to understand as well that the move will reveal first, and so if they move and then they play into it, it should, in effect, allow you to steal that power. So if they're like, oh, look, they played a Rocket Raccoon mid, I don't want to play mid, I want to play right, and then you move right and do the damage, right? It's also worth noting, I think there's a lot of synergistic stuff here with like something like a Nebula. You play Nebula down, you play Rocket Raccoon into that lane, you're like, hey, bring it. Play into Nebula, I'm taking power regardless, right? I mean, you don't necessarily have to do that. I'm just saying it's an option, right? But then again, it's like, okay, Blob, who's been in the caches over and over again. Selene, one of the worst cards in the game, one of the least played cards in the game. And again, it might get buffed or changed or turned into an activate or whatever by Jan 7th. But Right now, it's like, man, seriously? Like, Blob again, Selene, like, what are we doing? Oh, just awful spotlight caches. They're bad. And it's crazy because the cards are really interesting. The actual cards are super interesting. And then the kind of supporting cast is awful. Very, very unfortunate. Anyways, that's my rant here. I hope you found this video helpful. Overall, I do think the Marvel Rival cards are really cool. Probably a token spend in month if you're going to ask me. The Spotlight Caches themselves, very sus. We got another video for you on the screen if you're interested in seeing more, and we'll see you on that next one.